Is it?
Leave meeting.
Hello and welcome to Pardon the Interception, Season 32, Week 13, with your hosts, Lee Wood.
You got Conrad Williams. Hi, everybody.
You're me, Nick Taylor. I don't know any of the results this week, so it should be fun.
And me, Lee's annoying little brother.
And that is what he has been known as since 1988.
By the one week where he was known as Gareth Bale.
True. Right, let's start off as we mean to continue, and let's go look at some games. So, the GFL this week, we have the Rindraids at the Death Valley Black Knights. Conrad, to a casual outsider of the league, this looks like a little bit of an upset win.
Yeah, well, very quickly I rattled off some predictions for bowls at the end of the last broadcast, and only one of the teams that I named immediately got eliminated in the conference champs, and that was the Wraiths. So that went well. But I think when you dig a bit deeper into this, you can kind of see that Dave has, as always, been downplaying himself a little bit, because we expect Dave to win. We expect Coach Russell to be the best coach in the league. But he does mention, and it's probably right to say, that his team's not the oldest. He's not got a really veteran roster. Coach Jan definitely does. And this could be kind of their big tilt now, as a lot of their players are a bit more senior, a bit more experienced. And they did have the quality here to get this win that, if I'd have researched it properly going into the match, I might have actually realized. But once you see it play out, you can see that the passing game does tremendously well for the Black Knights. It's a worthy and pretty convincing victory in the end.
Yeah, I think it's very difficult to see any roster that has Dave Russell's name attached to it that he's curated and bet against it.
For sure. The number of wins and Super Bowl rings and so on that Dave has, that's why you just kind of want to back him by default. But yeah, he has been toppled in this conference championship game, and onwards and upwards for the Black Knights now.
Can you guess his win percentage career, Mr. Russell?
88?
94?
77.
89.
Oh.
It's impressive. Don't think I've ever seen one that high with that many. It's like 400 and something games, and he's got 90% win rate.
Yeah,
he's knocking down a peg or two.
He is a founding coach.
With that win rate, though, that's what it's impressive.
Okay, and then the second game in the GFL is the Wildcats at the Quake. And here we can see a shutout, which I don't think any of us expected this to be a shutout game.
No, I think we were leaning towards the Quake probably, although we expected it to be a close game, and this really wasn't a close game. It was complete battering, primarily led by the defense of the Quake, where Coach Shane Holmes, has basically totally bottled up the Wildcats, really not given up anything in terms of yards. We're talking less than 100 passing, less than 100 rushing. There's almost as many penalty yards as there are passing yards. 6 first downs. They've not given them a sniff in terms of defense. And then what the offense just did what it had to do and kept on plodding away. Racked up 4 passing touchdowns without too much trouble. So very, very comprehensive. And you would expect it, maybe have expected the Wildcats to do a bit better than that, but it just demonstrates the Quake are really strong and a lot stronger than perhaps we expected.
And a worthy MVP award for quarterback 3, putting up some numbers here. Has anyone else got anything to add before we look ahead to the bowl?
It's coming home. Football's coming home.
And on to the bowl, which is between the Black Knights and the Quake. Conrad, what can you make of this? These teams haven't met for a long while, and on the numbers, looks like it could be a very good bowl.
Yeah, both coaches kind of graduates into the GFL, having come from other leagues originally. Coach Holmes coached not that long ago in the Atlantic. Has clearly made the step up well to the GFL. I think it's very tough to figure out what's going to happen here. Yeah, you mentioned that the meetings have been few and far between. Clearly, the teams have been completely rebooted and changed since then, and they're nothing like they used to be. Yeah, I'd feel hard pressed to call who's going to get this one. I do think that the Quakes defense probably can't do what they did last week, and they're not going to be able to just totally bottle up the Black Knights. I think the Black Knights have too many offensive weapons, and they're going to get something out of it. They're going to get points. Who will actually win? Difficult to figure out. I've already called the race, and they're gone. So maybe I'll say the Black Knights will do it this time.
So that's a bowl win for the Quake.
Yeah, well, I've been pretty conservative. Given if you look at the bottom there, the Black Knights have got a 26 match win streak or something ridiculous.
Yeah, that's a little long. The odds do have Quake with 6, so
Football's coming home.
okay. Okay, on to the Atlantic, unless anyone has any parting thoughts on the GFL Bowl.
I think Quake will win, as Simon said. Football's coming home.
Okay.
I think the Quake's defense will probably do enough here.
I think I'm going to back the Quake as well.
Yeah, we need these things on record, so I thought I'd chip in with that. Okay,
so Atlantic. First game we look at is the Bath Snow Bears at the Long Beach Mariners. This was a ding-dong battle, which I managed to win based off of mainly 2 things. I did win the turnover battle, which I said last week was going to be key, and also I won the battle on special teams as well, taking a long hard look at my special teams roster with a spreadsheet provided by the other coach. Wood really helped me get the kick returns and punt returns just that little bit more push, giving me a slightly shorter field to work on.
Yeah, I think I pointed out in the post game that I was absolutely certain that Lee was going to win this game, and Lee did indeed win that game. So yeah, 100% record there. The special teams must have been important, certainly, and you rightly point out the turnovers. You only made 10 first downs, but clearly you did a lot with those first downs, racking up a lot of points and getting a lot of touchdowns. So yeah, it helps to have short field, and it helps to get the ball in the right place. But the stats are still pretty even in terms of yardage produced, so it is a funny one for the stat line.
Yeah, I think this game.
I think the big thing was the averages for my receivers were 20 plus yards.
It's those long yardage, was it 54 and 64? They make such a big difference in these kind of games. You get a couple of breakaways like that, it makes a huge difference. And Kiri's just kept on doing what Kiri does.
Okay.
So technically, if Kiri's doing what Kiri does and you win the bowl, Simon wins the bowl, really? That's how it works, right?
That's why I traded him, because if Kiri wins the bowl, I win the bowl.
Yeah, that is how it works. But also my quarterback's Aaron's quarterback. So does he win the bowl as well?
No.
I've got dibs.
Okay, and then the other game we've got is the Stingrays at the Stallions, which I think we all called as a Stallions win. So there's no massive surprises here. Aaron's team does what Aaron's team's done all season long. They've got a very, very solid D and an offense that will just grind down and put up a good amount of points.
Yeah, Bailey's absolutely had them here. They're just not enough of an outside run answer to stop him from just scoring yards at will. It's 45 carries. Oh, it's absolutely brutal to have one player getting 45 carries and just stomping all over you all match. They just couldn't do anything against it. 3-0 on turnovers, but Bailey's just had them for breakfast.
When you've got 45 carries, an average of 5.7, and you're long as 11, that running back is running all day long.
Yeah, you can see that from the 27 first downs as well. So hard to win a game conceding that many first downs. And yeah, as you say, Bailey's just been unstoppable in this game.
Okay, and then on to the bowl. So, an interesting bowl. The Spread has the Stallions winning by 12. I did predict at the start of the season that I would make it here and I would win. I did have myself playing the Generals instead. The Stallions are going to be a very tough match. I pretty much, from my opinion, I think I need to rely on special teams, breakaways, and interceptions to get any chance of a win here.
The last game you guys played, which was quite a long time ago, Mariners won. So history's with you. 100% win rate in this battle.
Also, the Mariners have won every single bowl they've been to. I just haven't been the coach during any of those.
Yeah, your job here is to avoid having Coach Sanford win 2 bowls. So that's a mission on.
So that's a tough ask. I mean, these Stallions have looked great all season, and no one's been able to stop them. I think it's going to be the big thing is keeping up points with them. If you can keep with them and maybe make some fumbles or get an interception here or there, that might just be enough to do it. I think I mentioned this last week with the Stingrays, but they weren't able to do it, which maybe suggests how strong the Stallions really are this season. And I think it's going to be a tough game for the Mariners. But as we said all along, Lee's predicted a win, so Lee's going to win.
This is where I'm massively torn because nobody likes Aaron Sanford. But then, do I want my brother to win a bowl?
Which is the lesser of 2 evils, man. That's a tough one.
I'm not sure, right? It's a hard one to choose. I think Aaron's going to win.
Yeah.
But look at those career percentages.
My years at the start do not make my numbers look good at all. I mean, I even did put in the comments. If I beat the spread, I'm gonna be happy with this.
What if we could bring back Barros for one game? One game only.
if I could bring back Barros and Smithick or Monteo, so if I can bring back one of my tight ends as well, then I think I have this game in the bag.
Well, that's a bold statement.
You have got a bit of help, Lee, because Aaron had 4 injuries last week. His starting returner is injured, and he had several other special teams injuries and one C on his guard.
Yeah,
and
so he's got a guard.
I imagine that's not bad luck, is the one thing I'd want to point out, because Aaron does have a history of using starters in special teams in off-season games.
Yeah, so the guard is a starter. The returner's a starter. The quarterback's still got a C. The rest of them are all special teams in injuries. I did dig into that.
I do special teams players though, because Aaron does like to put stars.
Yes, I did check that. Okay. And my IB got an F.
Nice.
Which is not good for me.
He's just your backup. Just don't give him any ideas. It's just a backup. Just a backup.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody got anything else before we move on to the Big Sky?
Well, let's go.
Simon, what do you make of the Packers and Rivets game?
It was absolutely riveting. Would be the first thing that I would point out. It's one of those games where kind of the Rivets like to hit all the zones, and they got so many points up early that I'm assuming the game balancing engine came in. At which point, kind of maybe the game wasn't as close as it looks. I trust you guys on the game balancing engine because I don't really know. It does also seem that the Packers' special teams was massively outgunned by the Rivets special team. I don't know if the Packers aren't paying attention to special teams or they just don't have the players for it, but there's quite a big disparity. So the Rivets were starting a lot further down the field on a regular basis, which I think just really changed things.
I think we said last week that the Rivets attacking lots of zones was going to be hugely beneficial to them. They've been impressive all season on that front, and it looks like it's really helped them out in this playoff game.
Okay. Of course, the Rivets are the home of the more successful Conrad.
Yeah, apparently it's looking at 3 in a row now with bowls. So, but I've already gone on record backing him for the bowls, and that's fine.
The imposter Conrad, isn't that what he's called?
The imposter, yeah.
Then we've got the
newbie.
Buccaneers at the Shadows. Davies being held to 2.8 yards a carry, but the Buccaneers still managing to win. Simon, what did you make of this?
This was an interesting one because it feels like Richard Klein has kind of got away with some daylight robbery here. To me, he's basically 100% run team, and his run got pretty shut down. Here, with only 2.8 yards to carry for an all-run team is pretty poor. But what he did pull out the bag is a sudden kind of passing barrage, with his quarterback getting nearly 200 yards, which he hasn't really done much all season. I think that is down to kind of Duncan's choice on defense, unfortunately. He did choose a 4-4, so his pass was a bit gimped to try and stop that run, but it seems maybe his pass D was actually, his run D was good enough to stop Richard. And maybe if a different formation might have changed things. But saying that, there was some lucky turnovers for the Buccaneers at certain points of the game that just kind of gifted them 7 points. Without one of those, might have seen a different result.
Yeah, I mean, like, based on the last 2 weeks, Davies has just run over his 2 previous opponents for was it 800 yards combined or something the last 2 weeks? So
I probably would have chosen the same formation. But
yeah. I mean, a little bit of maybe second and long and third and long, a little bit of just to bring that. Is the percentage there 78% completion? That's pretty big. That just keeping it ticking down the field is enough to get the points in, and if you just got to factor that in just a little bit, and that might have swung this result around the other way, as you say.
And then on to the bowl.
The boring bowl.
The Rivets at
Riveting
the
bowl.
Buccaneers.
Yeah, well, the Buccaneers have only just scraped in, right? We've just talked about how they really, they only just about managed to creak their way past with some fortunate turnovers and a bit of sneaky passing. But there will be no such surprises for Coach Whittingham. I think he knows what's coming, and he's got to be the absolute big favourite in this one, right?
Davies has a F and a B.
Oh no, he's got an F as well.
Jeez.
So
Yeah.
that's game over, right?
No. That just means he's a fullback.
Oh, of course.
So Richard Klein has no offense this game.
He just needs
Dennis
to rub
Rivets
his
has an
beard.
active streak of 30 games.
I guess there's a chance there's an understudy there that could do a job.
Or maybe he has a sudden. He might have a sudden passing offense that it's actually quite hard as the Rivets here, because you don't really know what you're going to be facing now. With a fit Davies, you know exactly what he's going to be doing. Without a fit Davies, what is Richard Klein going to play?
Yeah. You just put in a generic 4-3 and you'll be fine.
Maybe.
That sounds so blasé for a bowl game.
4-3, no stances. Let's see what happens.
It works for me in the regular season.
I mean, if you've got good enough defense, I mean, that's perfectly fine, right? But yeah, I think probably agreed that the Rivets have a massive favourite in this game. So I think Richard would have to pull something out of the bag, which is not beyond the realms of possibility here.
The Rivets are quite interesting because Conrad took kind of a 2-season nuclear rebuild when he took over the team, and then he's won 3 bowls. Oh, sorry, 2 plus this one, which he's going to win.
I mean, as we say, their offense attacks so many zones; it's really hard to stop them. So you've got to keep up with them, basically.
They are getting old though, which might help people next season.
Yeah.
Hey, on to the Continental. The first game we've got is the Monarchs at the Badgers. How did Strom do? That's the question on everyone's lips.
You mean Anguta?
Well, Badgers. Yeah, Badgers for the bowl. But like they barely made it here, which that was a real surprise because I think we're going into this. I'd expected them to just walk it. But actually, despite the performance of Anguta, who did well, they did struggle to put up the points.
It probably shows how good Anguta is. Those numbers are pretty impressive once again, and he is the running back that makes a big difference there.
They didn't give the ball to Strom enough. That was the problem.
They need their Strom side.
Yeah, definitely interesting with only making 15 first downs, only by 8 of rushing for an Anguta Strom led attack. It's not the Badgers we've seen in the regular season. We did think they were going to win. I think we did say it was going to be a closer game, but I don't think we expected a 1-point game.
I think there's some credit to the Monarchs here as well in stopping them and nearly getting it. This is Badgers at home as well, so fair play to the Monarchs for getting into this game and keeping into this game, even if they haven't quite crossed the line.
Yeah, and anytime the Badgers actually attempted a pass, the Monarchs went right for them. Like, they only attempted 9 passes, the Badgers, but they were sacked 3 times. So, the pass rush was clearly like, oh, the quarterback's got it, get him, and definitely put a lot of pressure on.
I think it does show how bad the Badgers' pass offense is, because they were playing against a 4-4 and couldn't throw the ball against that, which does show you're probably a bit lackluster in the passing offense.
Okay. Then the second game we've got from the Big Sky is the Trojans at the Bombers.
Continental,
Sorry, what did I call it?
Big Sky.
Big Sky. Oops. The Continental, indeed. The Trojans losing a close one on the road. The Bombers bombing their way to the bowl here, putting up good numbers on both passing and rushing, and just looking like a very quality outfit here. Don't really have an awful lot to say about this. The yardage differential.
We pointed out last week that they were backwards. So the Bombers were running a Trojan-like running game, and the Trojans were trying to bomb it.
Yeah.
But the end result seems to have been on this one is that the Bombers did keep their running game going, but the Trojans couldn't get quite as much out of their passing game as they did previously.
Yeah, I think this is going to lead to a big running back battle next round. The Messenger's done a great job here. He's been the difference. 6.4 yards per carry, 35 carries done. He's made the difference and got the Bombers into that bowl game.
Yeah,
This one was very close because the Trojans' special teams did dominate, and that's why they put up so many points.
Can we have a quick look where Messenger came from? Because I seem to remember he had a dominating college career, so that suggests he came into the draft as an elite. Did the Bombers actually draft him, or did they have to trade him in?
They drafted him. Pick 1.
Wow, they got pick 1. How did they end up with pick 1?
Pick 1, pack 1.
That's 2 seasons ago though.
Yeah, but still, he must be huge, right?
Yeah, he's got to be a monster.
What has it been? 2 seasons? 2 seasons of elite coaching. He's probably going to be level 17.
I mean, he got MVP in this first season, so that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, he could easily be level 20 because you can get 6 levels in your first season, 5 levels in your second season, plus whatever you've got on aging.
So he's going to be a bit of a monster for a few seasons to come as well.
Yeah.
Okay, looking forward to the bowl.
Badgers, Bombers.
They did meet in season 29. The Bombers did win.
Bro.
Both teams running out the I form. Badgers with a spread of 9. Would possibly the OB injury to the Badgers against the quick running back that I believe Messenger is could be a big difference here. It's a bowl game that I'm definitely going to watch because I think this one's going to be a close game. That injury to the outside linebacker, that puts me the Bombers to take it, I think.
Well, that's a bold call. Those career win percentages are fantastic, by the way. 80% and 75%. So we've got 2 very good coaches here. As you say, that injury could be a big problem. It's just going to be down to which team can stop the opposing running back, really. I mean, Anguta and Messenger look 2 standout running backs in this league. I think we've watched a lot of Badgers games, so maybe we're slightly skewed on Anguta with the Strom watch as well. I think I side on the Badgers with this one, but I think it's going to be close and it should be a great game.
It's difficult to look past Anguta because we've got the number 1 and number 2 running back, and there's 700 yards between them. That's a lot of yards.
Yeah, I mean, they're very heavily ridden him, certainly the Badgers. This is probably my favourite so far of the bowl matchups. It looks like it's got a bit of juiciness to it. You've definitely got the 2 big running backs going head to head. Chances are they're not going to be stopped, really. They're not going to be convincingly shut down. It's so hard to shut down a quick running back. Unless you like load your defense with like 2 huge OBs and a strong safety, which most people are not going to sell out for that, like unless they know they're going to be facing quick running back, through multiple divisional rivals. So it's tough because I don't think neither of them's been stopped all season particularly, but equally well, the tests for a lot of these teams have only come very late in the playoffs. So, the Badgers and Bombers haven't really been pushed that hard. And now this will be their biggest test yet. So, it'll be good to watch.
Can we remember who the Bombers' one loss this season was against?
No. But it might well be Pete's 5th bowl if he went bowl ring as well if he wins, which is impressive.
It was against the Classics.
Classics are pretty strong this season.
Yeah.
Made the playoffs. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'll be the slightly controversial one. Bombers are going to win with their passing game.
Bro.
Fighting words.
Few long bombs.
And on to the Delta. So the first game we've got to look at is the Sunblazers at the Katanas. A game where, did I call the Sunblazers for this or the Katanas? I can't remember. I think I may have called Frome, but Lee has been dominant in the Delta for a few seasons now. I think this is his 3rd bowl game in a row. Sunblazers have been doing incredibly well this season as well. But the passing game with the backup of the run-in from Eisenhart, as it's proved multiple games this season, just been slightly too much for Glenn, especially with the Katanas being at home as well. Just a very well executed game by Frome here.
I fancy the Sunblazers for this one, I have to say. No one likes Lee anymore. Too much winning. No one likes to see someone winning all the time.
To be fair, I think I called Katanas to win this and lose in the A, and that seems to be what's happened. Katanas look really strong though with that running back and quarterback combination.
Yeah, being nice only gets you so far, Elkins. Once you start winning too much, people just want to see you get toppled. But the fumbles, I think the Sunblazers kind of fumbled this one away. I don't know how many of those were forced, but it's just with no recoveries, fumbling it 5 times. It's just so messy. It looks like only maybe one was forced. So that's like 4 pretty bad errors to not get your hands back on any of those. Is kind of messy.
The one thing with forced fumbles is I think that fumbles forced by the monster hit attribute don't count as forced fumbles. You'd have to go through the play-by-play for those. But yeah, fumbling it up 5 times and recovering 0 of them is nasty.
If you've got a running back running 10 yards to carry on you, you're going to struggle to win a game. Mate, it's the unfortunate fact of life.
And still, they only put 147 yards up and decided to throw it for 420 instead.
Got to mix it up.
Yeah. Quite game planning error from Mr. Elkins there. The Sunblazers special teams were quite exceptional. They're like the number 2 after the Warriors in terms of special teams. They really do shove up some yards.
The Warriors, you say?
Yeah, it feels like we're entering the year of the returner at the moment, and like I'm going to just have to draft my next returner in round 1. In fact, I don't even have a good enough round 1 pick to get a returner.
And then we've got returner versus the Lone Stars as the second game.
The reason for that one, Conrad, is people skimp on punters, so you can't actually on kickoffs. So you can just kick it to the end zone. Returner's irrelevant.
Yeah.
Here we've got Aaron doing what Aaron does and winning a game which I think I called the Warriors in. But Aaron making his another way to a bowl, so we've got yet another LJE versus Aaron bowl. Fortunately, they're not doing the repeat in the Delta in the Atlantic as well, as we couldn't have 2 coaches in 2 bowls 2 years in a row. But Aaron, once again, proven to be a very, very dominant coach here. And Riding Bro and Vector running incredibly well with both of them, and Vector putting up a fairly decent passing game as well. How did Jonathan's return game do? Jonathan's still getting the return yards that we've expected from him. Just a very well executed game plan from Aaron here.
I do like watching these 60 quick quarterbacks to see how they do. I've always initially for a while I thought they were just bugged because they seem to perform too well. I think they may have dialed them back a little bit since then, in that like they're not as effective at passing as they used to be. And they do make mistakes. You do get quite a few interceptions. But when you can the guy can use his legs to get 117 yards and 3 touchdowns, I mean that's brutal. He's as good as a running back, and he also throws the ball. That's pretty dangerous.
The thing that defined this game for me is just the Warriors, because they have such good special teams. Their offense is a bit shit.
If you can keep them to field goals, sort of thing, then that makes a huge difference, right?
They can't always drive the ball into the end zone because they just don't have the levels.
Yeah.
Okay, and then looking forward to the bowl, we've got yet another Delta Bowl of Lone Stars at Katanas, which the last 2 have been won by Frome. This game, I need to look at the injuries before I decide which way I'm going to call it. We've got Lone Stars, cornerback, wide receiver.
Devereaux, G.
That's not a good set of injuries on the Katanas. I'm going to say the Lone Stars are going to pick this one based off of the injuries. If both of these teams are healthy, I think it's a very, very close game, but I think the Katanas just edge it out. With those injuries, I think that's enough that Vector and or Bro are just going to have enough of a running game to punch this one home.
Yeah, although I think I've already gone on record as saying that Lone Stars will win it. That'll give Aaron 2 different bowls, possibly in 2 different leagues in the same season. He's basically on his way to being the next Dave Scott.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, isn't it? Like the pretty much full-on running game of the Lone Stars plus versus a bit more from the Katanas. I don't know. The injuries look pretty rough on the Katanas, but I'm gonna say we're going to go with Lee on this one, and I think he's gonna take this one. But it feels like it'll be a close one for sure.
Yeah. Lee is on record on the media saying that he doesn't have backups.
Did you actually predict this bowl though, Lee? That's the real question.
No, I picked Katanas Warriors and the Warriors winning.
Okay, so we go with Katanas because that's the closest thing to your prediction.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Then I think the Katanas should win. It's how big that OLB is, and they're just going to run all over each other probably. And Lee's pass defense is probably good enough to stop the stupid quarterback passing.
Yes, Scully's a monster. I traded Scully to Lee several seasons ago.
Can't sack a 60 quick quarterback though; he'll just run away. But you can stop him from passing.
Yeah. Right, and then on to the Empire. First game we've got to look at is the Bounty at the Kings. Nick, what do you make of this?
Well, it's another dominating Kings performance by the looks of things. They've got their usual game plan in. The running back hasn't done quite as well as previous weeks, but they've got so many options in attack that it's very hard to stop them. They've racked up 34 points by halftime. That's going to be pretty tough to come back from, as we've seen. The Bounty really needed to. I think we said last week that they needed to keep up in the score, and I think we said that with the Herd as well. And neither team's managed to do that. Five first downs is going to be tough to keep up there, and the Kings have just looked as dominant as they have done all season.
What's with that 3-letter code for the Bounty? Just have to. They're trying to steal the Basingstoke code.
Stolen.
Where's the S coming from?
It could be that they didn't update it when they were a previously named team. Okay, and then the other game we've got to look at is the Jacksonville High Hunters versus the Birmingham Red Bulls.
Do you mean the High Hunters, Lee?
We've been told that they are just the town is Jacksonville High.
Don't care. High Hunters. Sounds better.
Jacksonville, hello, Hunters. We have the Red Bulls winning here. Postman Pat just could not deliver here, and the Red Bulls managed to have a better passing game. I think we called the Hunters for this one. At least I called the Hunters for this. I think.
Yeah,
I mean,
sorry.
it's all right, Nick. You go.
Okay, I think they did call the Hunters because they had Pat and Legend's just not turned up for this game. I think he's gone and sat in the stands at some point because he's only got 1.5 yards per carry, which is really low for him. And yeah, fair play to the Red Bulls. They've done a great job here.
I think that was very critical, really, for them, was that the ability to just bottle up Legend and just put an end to him. And with him kind of taken out the game, they kind of had free reign to do what they wanted. That said, they obviously still gave up a lot of passing yards, but eliminating Legend from the game was really important.
Then moving on to the bowl, the Red Bulls at the Kings. Let's have a look and see what the spread and the injuries say. So
poor old Bounty, yeah.
You've got 18-point spread for the Kings. I nearly read that as strong, but that's the wrong league. For some reason, an unnamed player has a B, and there's a D to one of the Kings' offensive tackles. Is that going to be enough to upset the Kings? Nick, what do you think?
It's hard to look past the Kings, really, isn't it? They've been really strong this season. Their one loss was to the Hunters. Red Bull beating the Hunters, maybe Red Bull have enough. They've been pretty impressive this season as well. I don't think we've covered them quite as much as the other teams. Same with the Kings, to be fair, because they've just scored 50 points nearly every week. So, we've just ended up going elsewhere. I think this game's probably going to be closer than maybe we expect. I'm going to be boring and edge on the side of caution and go over the Kings, but I'm not putting it past the Red Bulls to cause an upset here.
I think my head wants to go with the Kings. My heart wants to go with the Red Bulls. I'm a bit torn. So I think, just given how well I've seen them play this season, I have to go with the Kings.
Yeah, I'll go with the Kings as well. I think once you put their pass rush into the mix as well, that makes a difference, because the Red Bulls have been, they needed their pass to get through the last game, but if they've got the league leading sacker on the other side of the pitch, that could be a problem for them.
Yeah, with 31 sacks as well. It's a very large number.
I want to pick Birmingham Red to win, but I'll go with the Kings.
Okay. Yeah. Right. So, does anybody have any parting words before we get to the end? Start off with Nick.
No, nothing too much. Just good luck to the coaches. Good luck to Aaron against Lee, because we don't want Lee winning. And
do you want Aaron winning twice?
Yeah.
Do we?
Lee. Do we want his prediction to come true? I mean, like...
Can you imagine how salty Aaron would be if he lost both bowls?
Oh, there we go. I'll get the celebration going if Aaron loses both. I'll do a live celebration.
No, I'm just looking... I think in general, though, I'm just looking forward to the games, because I think they all look like great games to watch. So I'll be looking forward to looking at them over the weekend, as opposed to this week where I've not looked at any of the games.
Yeah,
I would skip over the boring Sky.
Yeah, the big Sky, because of the injury to Davies, it makes it less exciting.
Team sheets to go and look at. How exciting is that? I mean, anything could be on that team sheet. I'm liking the idea of this.
Well, it's going to be a spread offense.
Conrad, anything from you?
Well, you can tell we've got to the summer season. Everybody's feeling pretty relaxed and looking forward to a bit of sunshine. Nick's out on a patio in Wales somewhere, so we're all happy and enjoying the last bit of the season. Just to try and watch those bowl games will be great. Even if you've kind of finished with your gridiron season, we hope that you've enjoyed our coverage and you'll enjoy our last little recap, which will be coming in not too distant future.
One last prediction.
Mm-hmm.
How long is it going to take them to run the bowl games this week?
I thought your one last prediction would be Nick's going to end up back in his storage locker next week with his cardboard boxes.
We all know we only let Nick out of the cupboard for 1 week a year.
Yeah.
A week. How long do you reckon? Is it going to be 2 hours, or is it going to be?
I think it's going to break. Leewood's going to win the A Bowl, and the system's going to go. Oh, we can't deal with this.
They're just going to continually run the games till Aaron loses both of the bowl season.
How much do I have to pay R&R for that? Can we have a little whip round?
I expect one of the Riches will probably go on holiday and they'll have forgotten what exactly the deadline date was and then say there's been an unexpected problem and game execution's been delayed until he gets back from his holiday.
We're going to run it the day of the draft instead. So
honestly, the delay last week was an awkward one for me. It was one of the most stressful Saturdays I've had in a long while.
You should be like me and just forget there's a game week this week and then realise it's Thursday and you've got to record PTI and you haven't looked at any games.
Right. Anything from anyone else before we bring this to a close? Okay, it's goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.